It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Make sure you're subscribed anywhere you get podcasts. And be sure to follow me on socials at MLU Pod. You can also support My Little Underground for as little as $1 a month. Link is in the description and over at peteraradio.com. Returning to the show after 2 long years, Long Island's own Smol Data, their lead singer Karah Goldstein returns to talk about the upcoming debut album of Smol Data, Inconvenience Store. And Karah also curated a nice little Spotify playlist for us to show you what artists she was inspired by. And Metric is on here a lot. And that's a good thing, not a criticism. I love Metric. Now let's listen to Karah Goldstein shed some details on the upcoming Smol Data album, Inconvenience Store, and it's right here on My Little Underground. 2 years ago, I remember you showed me a preview of the first Smol Data LP, now titled Inconvenience Store. So how many of these demos that you played for me have been fleshed out? Or did you kind of just start from scratch and started anew?
Probably almost none of the actual parts you heard are still in it, but the song is pretty much exactly the same. Pretty much all of the, parts for every instrument are the same. I just like I redid synth parts that I just wrote in MIDI on Logic. I have an actual synthesizer now and I, played them the best I could.
Okay, all right. So how many, if any at all, did you have any back to the drawing board moments where you had to just, you didn't like what you did and you just kind of just went back to the beginning and started over?
Not really. Pretty much I just no, not really. All the songs that, you heard 2 years ago, I finished writing them about 2 years ago. Um and the whatever demos I showed you, those are the songs.
Okay, so I know you're very meticulous. And how many takes did you realize when you were doing a song? Okay, this is good enough. This is fine.
Oh, you have absolutely no idea. When we went to record vocals, I brought I put first off I needed to buy 3 different flash drives to fit the Logic files on them because there were so many unused takes of me redoing things. It took about 10 minutes to open the files on a new computer.
Why is
One,
that?
it's supposed to take about 10 seconds, if that, because I redid everything so many times if it wasn't perfect. And even if it was perfect, there's definitely good takes I deleted because I just kept telling myself I could do it better.
Okay. To that end, I know a lot of your recordings in the past have been bedroom, and I remember talking to you about, oh, why don't you just go into a studio? Go into a studio, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna do it from home. So, how much of Inconvenience Store was bedroom recordings and studio
Nothing
recordings?
was recorded in a studio. It's being
Okay.
mixed in a studio, but
Okay.
everything was recorded in my room or Chris's room.
Why do you do this? This is just your way.
I
It's
don't
the
have any
cheapest
money.
way. Oh, there you go. There you
I
go.
wish I could go to a studio. I regret that sometimes because I listen to. We're going to Billy Menino's studio now to mix it, and he'll show us some of the recordings, the stuff that he's mixing, where the artist recorded it in his studio. And I'll hear like one note on a guitar. I'm like, this sounds so much better than what I did. I'll hear just like one strum of a guitar or something. I'm just like, I should have went to a studio. You could just get everything to sound fantastic in a studio, but I didn't because I didn't have any money. And if I wanted to go and record 10 songs in a studio, especially with the number of layers I have in my songs, it would have been just thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, me doing this podcast, I'm doing it from home. Like, I don't see
Right.
myself paying for studio time at this very moment because I can do it cheaper from home. That's all.
Yeah, of
And
course.
as long as the output is what you want to share with the world, then who cares where you did it?
I'm sure there's going to be times, where, I mean, there's already times where I'm just like, man, like that guitar part would have sounded so much better if I recorded it in a studio. But I mean, with the number of, bedroom albums I listen to that I love, I don't think the difference isn't, just listen to the microphone you have in your phone. Like it sounds great. Your phone mic sounds great. The difference between, it's gotten so much cheaper to make, great recording technology that the difference between, your phone microphone and a studio microphone, it's obviously still a difference, but it's not as wide of a gap as it once was.
Wouldn't the difference in like audio quality be like the mixing and mastering portion of it?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
and just you know, I listened to what Billy has mixed so far, and you wouldn't listen to this and be like, "This is a bedroom pop album." It sounds like it probably was recorded in a studio.
So will the first single of Inconvenience Store be Bankruptcy Eve?
Yes, salaried parentheses bankruptcy eve is the first single, and that should be out at the end of this month if all goes according to plan.
Okay, all right. So what can you tell me about this song and why is it the first single?
This was the first song I no, that's not true. It was like the second or third song I wrote for the album. Um, it's track two, which is we all know is supposed to be like the catchiest song, the hit, the single, stuff like that. So it just seemed like the right song to put out as the first single. It was, kind of written to be a single. It was written to be catchy.
So are you saying that the rest of the album isn't catchy?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The rest of it
Um,
sucks.
Great. Yeah, just yeah. Who needs to make a consistent album? Just have one song that's good and the rest filler. Who cares?
I mean, pop stars do it all the time.
Yeah, of course. As long as that song gets on a playlist, you're
Yeah,
good. You're good. Or and if it gets on a commercial or it's a theme song
right.
for a sitcom, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think there's any filler on this album. It's only 10 songs. It's not like a super long album or anything, but I think it's like 10 quality tracks.
Great. I'm very excited to hear it. As you know. So from what I can tell from the social media teasers you've been putting out and the demos you played for me, there are a lot of synths at
Yes.
play here. Have you been listening to tons of synth heavy music during the recording process?
Like most of my favorite bands are, guitar rock bands that also incorporate, some pretty heavy synths. My favorite band is Metric, and if you've ever listened to Metric, you know that there's a lot of synths going on, and that they're definitely my biggest inspiration. If you hear the synth parts in a Metric song, you definitely be like, "Oh, I understand like why Karah went in this direction."
Yeah, your Inconvenience Store inspo playlist had a lot of deep cuts. I remember telling you, "Oh, just put Help I'm Alive," and you're like, "Nope, just deep cuts. That's it." And your playlist had tons and tons of metric.
Yes.
So, what about metric do you admire so much?
Um, I really just like how they're able to like seamlessly blend the synthesizer into, rock music, and it doesn't feel out of place at all. Um, Obviously tons of bands have done this. Um, it's hard to say exactly what I love so much about Metric. Um, it's the synth lines they write. It's also there's a lot of interesting percussion on that album. Really loud shakers and whatnot that I love, and I do a lot of that myself too. Just like very creative rock music.
Okay. And what one thing I noticed from your playlist, the metric song Grow Up and Blow Away." That song has a lot of really cool synth parts.
Oh yeah, I actually played that song when we were in the studio, and I was like, "Oh, I ripped off this song, for the first song on my album because the synths like come soaring in the same way." And I played it for Billy, and he's like, "I don't think this sounds like your song at all," but he loves that album now, which I'm excited about. I love when I turn people on to Metric, especially like not like Black Sheep, the songs that everybody knows, just like Metric deep cuts, because not a lot of people I know are like hardcore into them like I am.
I love metric. They're such an interesting group.
Me too.
Yeah, especially like sonically, they're you know you can sort of tell what they're inspired by, what they listen to, but not necessarily. Like when you hear a metric song, okay, yep, that's metric, and I
Yeah,
love that simple idea that this group sticks out in some way. Emily's voice is pretty unique, I think,
yeah.
and yeah, again, and it's really interesting. You probably know this as well. Like a lot of their albums are totally different
Oh
sonically. Like some of
yeah,
their earlier work is so way different from their more recent work, I think.
absolutely.
What's
Do
your
you,
favorite metric album,
my
if you have
favorite
one?
is probably Grow Up and Blow Away. Do you know how that album was actually recorded in like 2001? And then they were like, it's too soft, and they scrapped it, and then they put out Old World Underground, and then they put out Live It Out, and then in 2007 they put out the album they recorded in 2000. hold on. Yeah, I think it's 2007 they put out Grow Up and Blow Away, but it was actually recorded in 2001. And they never
Yeah, I
played
remember
any
hearing
of
about
it
that.
live.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I think that's really. I think the Misfits had a similar thing. Like they put out Static Age in like '97, and the album was actually recorded in 1978. So
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you actually previewed a tune from Inconvenience Store. I think it was about bagels on
Yes.
a live stream from the Dust Bowl. So how many phases have this song went through since that time?
Um really, I mean I wrote the song summer 2018. Um and then I wrote the synth line probably like in the fall, and that's like really the whole thing is kind of worked around this synth line. Um and that hasn't changed at all, you know, like when I write a song, I kind of feel like it already exists and I have to figure it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense.
I'm like I
So
already hear it in my head. It's just like getting it out. Like there's a right way to do it in my head. Like it's supposed to sound like I just have to figure out what this thing is. It's not like I'm writing it like I'm making decisions on the spot. I'm like trying to decode something.
do you take into consideration like the response that you got from people when you performed that song?
Yeah, that's actually I think everyone's favorite so far. That one is the one that when I play it live, I've gotten the most positive feedback on.
Yeah, and yeah,
I,
I remember liking it. And then you told us that, well, guys, you have to hear the actual version because there's so much stuff going on. There's many different parts, many different layers, many different things happening, which is cool.
yeah, there's yes, there's a lot. I don't really. I mean, I like playing acoustic, but I don't think that anyone can get like what I'm trying to accomplish as a musician out of an acoustic set for me.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on live streamed concerts, and would you ever pay to watch one?
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever watched any?
Yeah, I've watched a few. So I mean, a lot of them it was like right when quarantine started, we were all just bored. So a lot of musicians were just like live streaming themselves for fun. And then I'm in a chat room, and all my friends that I miss are in the chat room. So that's fun. But now, of course, people got to make money too. So now I'm getting invitations to do to like live streams. It's like I got an invitation to one. It's like $20. I'm like $20 to subscribe to this service. Like that's so much. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you would have spent $20 to go to a concert in a heartbeat, and you haven't gone to one in months now. And if you have a buddy watching the stream with you, now it's only $10.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would pay for like a live streamed concert unless it was like maybe produced in a certain way that you
Oh
can.
yeah, when
You know
people
what I
are
mean?
doing that, they're not just like. I mean, maybe some people are. It's not. They're not just like live streaming like their band practice. Like if they're doing like a proper live stream concert, like the audio is all set up in a way that, you're getting as close to the real thing as you possibly can.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Have you seen live stream shows that were like that?
I haven't really yet. I see them all the time, but I guess I'm being cheap or I'm forgetting about them.
I mean, I've seen some performances on like the BET Awards that were like produced very well, but like they're obviously running on a skeleton crew and stuff like that,
Ooh.
which I think is kind of cool.
Um yeah, I don't know. It all depends if and it just depends how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I'm like $20. That sounds like a lot to like watch a live stream, but then it's really not like at all. Especially when I haven't paid to see any of these bands live in months.
Yeah, and also during these times, like who has money, you know?
Yeah, no one has any money, but it's like I can't just expect like these musicians that like are doing this like truly as their career, are on that level to just like live stream for free for me, like from their houses, like because it's fun. Like these people have to make money too.
Yeah, sure. Like, what do you think of? How do you think like DIY touring and musicianship will evolve after COVID?
Oh, I don't even know. Everyone's been asking that. That's the big question. I have no idea.
I actually think that is I think a lot of people are going to get a lot more creative in how they do it because I went to a front lawn show.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, it was very interesting. It was there wasn't a lot of people there, but I still got the same feeling I got when I was going to a show. But and there's a whole campaign of like save our spaces and stuff like that, which is good. But when I look at artists on like a DIY level, they're always going to find different ways to play shows because we've seen it. People turn their garages into mini venues
Oh
or turn
yeah.
their basements and or whatever, or turn their living rooms into something. So it's always going to evolve, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, people will figure it out. Music isn't over.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what are your thoughts on Bandcamp Day?
Bandcamp Day, we were trying to figure out if I could put out my album on Bandcamp Day. It's, there's pros and cons, obviously. The pro is that you get all the money, which is awesome. Who doesn't love money? And the con is that you're competing with everyone for attention because, everyone wants to put up music on Bandcamp Day for obvious reasons. And, breaking through, if some huge band puts out music the same exact day as me, it's going to be hard to like get that attention, on me. I want all the attention.
I see. I guess you just got to make sure like the people that follow you know that you have stuff on Bandcamp now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just hard. I have friends that put out stuff on Bandcamp Day and who I love, and but their posts just like didn't go to the top of the algorithm, so I bought something else on Bandcamp Day. I forgot to buy their thing on Bandcamp Day.
I don't think anybody's posts are going to the top of the algorithm unless you pay for it.
Yeah.
How do you think Bandcamp Day has helped small data at all?
We've gotten a few, friends of mine have bought just like REP, which like I'm not even really promoting. It's from years ago on Bandcamp Day just because they want to, support their friends.
Have you bought anything interesting from Bandcamp that you would like to share?
I keep buying every time our LP. I don't want to give away too much about the release, but I'm friends with a small label called Broken Camera Records, and they've done a few comps that they've put out on Bandcamp Day, so I always buy those.
Anything else that you bought? Anything from Sydney Gish? Did she put anything new out
No,
on Bandcamp?
I don't think so, unless I missed it. Um, I saw a tweet yesterday like, "Where's the next Sydney Gish album?" I'm like, "Yeah, where is it?"
Hmm. I know
You
Illuminati
know she
Hotties
has
is.
some huge
Yeah.
deal. You know it's a big ass label.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, come on.
What did she put her last stuff out on?
I think she just self released it. I don't think it's on a
Oh.
label.
Oh, okay. Hey. Maybe she'll go the soccer mommy route and get signed to Fat Possum and then that's it.
I think
Take
she's
off
on
from there.
polyvinyl. I don't know.
Polyvinyl.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I should make assumptions because she played in Oneonta like 2 years ago now, or oh my god, it's gonna be closer to like no, I guess it's like close to 2 years ago now. She played in Oneonta, and she was touring with Squirrel Flower.
Squirrel Flower. That's a great name.
Yes, and she's on polyvinyl, so I was like, interesting. I feel like she has that sound. I feel like she's probably on polyvinyl.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember Tancred was on Polyvinyl. I'm not sure if she's still on there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What did you think of the new Illuminati Hotties album?
Oh, it's great. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. It's
it's really
super
good.
creative.
And it's hilarious too.
Oh yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
She
Let's
sounds
smash
exactly
to a podcast. That's been in my head. That's been in my head ever since the album came out. Good
Oh
stuff.
my god. I think during the like the skit track where she's saying, to hold on to your masters and whatnot, she sounds like Kristen Shaw. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like exactly like her.
Wow. Oh, the little are you talking about the little skit from what you call the little like radio segment?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That was good. That was good stuff. Well, you actually had some Illuminati hotties on your Inconvenience Store inspo playlist too. So
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
definitely think like it's an FFO for fans of if you especially if
Ah,
you like that new album, I think you might like my band potentially. I don't
okay.
really know who to compare us to. Like I just don't know. I
Oh,
think
you
the song's
shouldn't.
pretty diverse. Every song could remind you of something else.
Yeah, I think that's everyone. Like every artist is like, oh, they listen to that probably. Oh, they listen to this, listen to
Right.
that. But there are some artists that are like that sound painfully like another
Yeah.
group. But there's some that's like, okay, you're inspired by this. You have a wide array of different inspirations, which is cool. Like yourself too.
Right. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I know small data, as you've told me before, is no longer like a quote unquote band. It's really just your project. But when when people are able to tour again, do you have an idea of what the small data touring band will look like?
Oh yeah, actually, I have a chat open right now with some friends of mine who I have a band. I have people who are very stoked on working with me.
What does
It's
the
just
band look like? Like who's playing what, or what instruments are you having?
so it's my boyfriend Chris on lead guitar now, and then I don't know if you're familiar with the band Shirt Club at all, but it's
No.
Gary from Shirt Club on bass and Max from Shirt Club on drums.
How do you feel about having a lot of members from different bands in your playing with your group? Do you
It's just
ever question? Okay.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I was gonna say, like, do you ever feel like there's gonna be someone that's like not entirely quote unquote loyal or dedicated to your project?
It's complete. I don't think anyone will or should or would ever be as dedicated to my project as I am. Like it just doesn't even make sense to me. Like obviously no one is going to care about small data as much as I do. There's people who care a lot and are super enthusiastic about it and that's awesome. But like I would never feel like you care more about your own songs than mine. Like that's insane. Of course they do.
That gets like a community thing with you because you've played on Barely March before. You've toured with him before. Did you play on any of their songs?
No, 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 no. Chris does everything by himself.
Okay, okay.
Everything.
All right. So you played a few shows with them. That
Yeah.
was it, right? Okay. All right. So you're probably completely forgot, not forgot, but like you probably are just okay. That's not me anymore. Like your first EP. Tell me some of the similarities and differences between the first project and Inconvenience Store, and what have you learned from these sessions versus your recording your first EP?
When I wrote the words for the first EP, I was like, I didn't talk about really what I wanted to talk about at all because I was just so afraid of like coming across. I'm just always afraid of saying the wrong thing because the internet is mad at someone every single day, especially now because no one can do anything except go online if they want to communicate. Um, and I just like sanitized the words to the point that they just meant nothing. I didn't talk about anything I wanted to talk about. I didn't talk about anything happening in my life that I wanted to talk about. I was just like, I just need this to be squeaky clean and so no one will be mad at me. And it's so stupid because I hate music like that. I like music where people are honest and talk about what they want to talk about. So I
Yeah,
didn't do that at all on the album.
I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of that because that's literally what art is.
Oh yeah.
You're just putting yourself out there. You're not telling like every little detail about your life, but things
No.
that are troubling to you. You should do that.
Yeah, like I, I just I lie awake every night just like thinking of like a new lyric every day that I'm like, what if someone interprets this way, interprets it this way, and they think that I'm this, and they think that I'm crazy, and they think that I'm blah blah blah. And then I was thinking about that Charlie Bliss album. I'm just like, the second song gets to the album, she talks about second cousins making out, and I'm just like, I love that song. Like I think it's one of my favorite albums ever. So I'm like, you can't be afraid to look crazy.
There's always going to be somebody who's going to interpret your music some way.
Yeah, 100%.
Always. Yeah, so you should never be afraid of that kind of stuff, unless you're talking about a specific person. You
No,
know, yeah. But hey, your experiences are your experiences.
yeah, like I just there's always going to be someone that does interpret it a certain way, but I mean, if I, you know, I already tried sanitizing everything and just like writing lyrics about nothing and just, filling space. And I wasn't really like too happy with I like our EP, like I'm proud of it and everything, but you know, I don't feel like as attached to it or as passionate about it as I feel about like some of these new songs because I wasn't so like clean.
So you're saying like Inconvenience Store is going to be more personal.
Yes.
I see. That's great. I like that. I can't wait to hear that.
Thank you. I hope, I hope people like it. I hope I don't I hope I look endearingly insane. Like one of my favorite bands is Say Anything, and like he's completely out of his mind, and that's what shines through in his music, and that's why people like it.
What kind of did you learn any kind of new tricks from recording, songwriting, playing instruments in the making of Inconvenience Store that you didn't know before when you were recording your first EP?
Oh yeah, I mean I didn't record the first EP myself. We recorded that with a friend.
And
I only
Inconvenient. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I only used Logic for the first time recording this album.
So you learned Logic while recording Inconvenience Store?
Yes, I learned
Oh,
everything I know now recording this. I had no idea how to
okay.
use it before.
So you're your own producer now. What you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, Billy keeps saying that to me too. Like I don't really know like what to do because he's the one mixing it. I sent him all the files, he mixes it, but we go to the studio almost every time he's mixing one of our songs and really steer him in the direction that we wanted to go in because I have a very specific idea. I just didn't want to, it sounds obviously a bazillion times better with him mixing it in his studio than me mixing it with my headphones because I would have EQ'd and compressed everything all wrong.
So you also have a little taste of mixing and mastering.
I, I, Not really. Well, definitely not mastering. I have no idea how to do that.
Okay.
Um, Mixing, like I got like the volumes, which I think all gets messed up once I send it to someone else. But like I don't think the song sounded bad, like on mix. Like I was still pretty proud of them. I was like, if we're starting here, it's only gonna get better. Mastering, I don't know anything about.
Do you already have LP2 ideas?
I have some ideas, but I haven't been writing songs. I've
You
been
just
too
kind of you
focused.
just want to get this album out.
Yeah,
So do you have any idea when this thing will come out? When we'll see this?
we want it. We're aiming for Black Friday,
Black Friday.
and
Okay, I
so
think
far,
that'll be a good time.
yeah. So far, we have like 7 out of the 10 songs have been mixed. There's still tweaking that has to be done. They're not finished, but that's pretty good for October 11th.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm very excited. So, do you have? Are we gonna at least have a first single soon?
I want to put out the first single like maybe on like Halloween or something.
Now that would be awesome. That would be great.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Card. Thank you so much for shedding light on the brand new Small Data LP Inconvenience Store coming very soon. Hopefully by Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's.
Definitely before if it's not done by the end of November, then we'll probably push it to the next year. But I really don't want to do that. I want it to come out this year.
So where can people follow you on? I know you have like 8 million Instagram accounts.
Okay, it's Small Data NY on Twitter, which is where I spend most of my time. Then on Instagram, we're small dot data. That's really where I've been doing most of my posting. Twitter and Instagram.
All right, we're gonna look out for Inconvenience Store Small Data coming soon. Thank you so much, Karah.
Well, thank you.